Okay. Good morning.
Good morning.
Can you hear me?
Yes, everything is clear.
Good morning.
The Congress via email or WhatsApp message. Sorry. Yeah. You can download your participant certificate from system after presentation. Is there a question? Yeah. First presentation. Dear Milo.
I'm ready.
Yeah.
Can you see my presentation?
Yeah, you can start.
Yes. May I start?
Yeah.
Yeah. Thank you very much. Good morning, everybody. And I'd like to present our result of our work, implementation of information. Information and communication technologies in the education process. The development of smart technology, the growth of the computing capabilities allows us to expand the range of services in academic university. In addition, prerequisites are being formed for the integration of management functions with the educational functions of the university, which makes it possible to form a new type, an active, innovative university. This approach allows us to transform not only digital education services, but also the formation of a startup orientation and entrepreneurial activity among students, the formation of electronic document management based on modern technology. And in addition, an active innovating university, the University of the Future Education Platform 5.0 requires the development of a cooperative information and educational system, abbreviation CIES, for the university, in which almost all functions are integrated. The model for deploying a cooperative information technology system that allows you to form the prerequisites for the transition to the educational platform 5.0 is proposed. This model is based on the concept of multi-loop security. It's proposed to provide counteraction to modern touched threats. It's proposed to use a key certification center based on the X.509 standard as the basis for the security system and functionality of the CIES, which will expand the range of digitalization of the university's web platform and ensure an increase in the university's rating in the web metric assessment system. The development of modern technologies and computing resources can significantly change the functionality of a modern innovation active university. This approach ensures the development of almost the entire spectrum of electronic functions during the creation and development of cooperative information education system. The relationship between the management process and the main functions of an innovative university with the improvement of e-learning development are demonstrated on the next figure. and you can see the different process and different blocks, and the main in the center, the main the set of process, educational processes and scientific processes. And more detailed, to use the functions of the management and openness of an innovatively active university allows solving the problem of the transparency of the functionality of educational e-system, attractiveness, and the possibility of control from the side of society and stakeholders. As a structural diagram of main subsystem of the corporative information training system are demonstrated in this figure. And you can see the 4 main blocks. It's educational processes, scientific processes, organizational processes, and process of material and technical supply that support the normal functions of the previous blocks. The support to support the transparency of management, the academic processes to combat corruption and ensure the security of electronic documents management in the corporative information educational system of an innovative active university. It's proposed to form a 3-level control and security system based on public key technology, X.509 standard. 3 levels. At the level of university management, it's proposed to make changes and form an electronic document management system based on the development of the cybersecurity components and the archive, which will not only simplify the functionality of business management, increase the efficiency and profitability of management, but also balance the staffing table and simplify reporting and monitoring the performance of the functioning of e-education system and innovative campuses. Next level, level of the management of faculties and institutes. It's proposed to use the functions of electronic document management in organizing and controlling the functionality of providing educational functions, distributing control and increasing the efficiency of transparency for students, in the formation of accumulation of points in disciplines, conducting an examination session, fulfilling the schedule of the educational process, as well as developing web platforms, personal account, or teachers, students, and in other words, the cabinet. Their relationship with the scientific and educational sector of the university. And the next level, the third level of the department leadership, it's proposed to use web platform, offices for teachers and students in order to integrate and transparently control learning, both of the part of teachers and students' activities, the activities in the startup movement and or entrepreneurial activities, taking into account the possibility of a dual form of educational or individual orientation of the study of disciplines. To ensure the development and formation of electronic document management and an effective anti-corruption control system at all levels of management of the university functions, it's proposed to use the certification system of the Key Certification Center, which allows not only to control the performance of the managerial functions of an innovatively active university, but also to provide access to all digital information through a single mechanism, services, and e-systems, of the university and innovative campuses. At the same time, the use of certification in an integrated information security system provides a so-called 3A service, authorization, accessibility, and authentication based on a unified approach. SARFARE X.509 is recommended as a base for this goal. It's a software package that allows the middle operating system of electronic computing technology to function and interact with other applied software programs. And its general structure is shown at this figure. And you can see the different blocks in center, the call center and key certification software, the set of clients, the remote registration center, and some other registration center, and some others. It's a general common diagram of key certification center. The proposed approach takes into account not only the main functions of the hierarchical management structure of the innovation activity university, their goals and tasks, but also the provision of counteraction to element of corruption and the integration of hybrid trees based on the construction of the cryptographic information protection system. The main elements of this system are Shifr X.509, which provides not only authentication, authorization, but also automatic control of electronic document flow, which significantly reduce the risks of corruption schemes of all levels of information system management, innovation activity university management system. Cypher X.509 is a software complex, the tools of which functions in the operating system environments of electronic computing equipment and interact with general application software. And the block diagram of the corporative information and educational system of the university with elements of the cryptographic information protection system, Cypher 509 is presented on this slide. In order to form an innovation activity university in the condition of the transition to education 5.0, it's necessary to use the integration of not only educational programs, but also specialties, taking into account the development of computing resources, digital services, and ensuring their security. The integration of information technology industry, especially specialties, taking into account the needs of the labor market and the development of digital services is presented on next figure, and you can see the list of specialty for Ukraine, specialties in circled fields, and two new specialties. It's a security of the state and information security of the state. And we have 4 years. And the main features for the appropriate years, for instance, for first year of study, it's a general subject of study, testing, selection, and for second year of study, there are individual learning trajectory, stakeholders learning. For third year, it's individual learning trajectory, stakeholder learning, and individual courses. And during the fourth year of study, you'll learn trajectory, stakeholders learning, and internship in IT company. What's about the technology of building an electronic document flow system? That's a core of maybe this system, one of the main feature. The technology of building an electronic document management system in an element of the management and decision-making system in the university of corporative information educational system. Its content consists of management procedures related to the collection, movement, storage, processing, analysis of information, its provision to structural subdivisions and individual workplaces of employees of higher educational institute. Based on these reasons, the research developed a set of tasks in accordance with the proposed stages of technology. The proposed approach ensures the information of a cybernetic system based on open key technologies, which makes it possible to fight with confidence the manifestation of corruption in higher education institutions on the basis of technical solutions without human participation. The development of modern technologies significantly expand the range of services that can be used in the corporative information education system. This, in turn, significantly affects the ranking of the university according to the criteria of the international ranking of universities in the world ranking web of university, so-called the Webometrics. The main criteria are shown in this figure, and the development of modern technology significantly expands the range of service, and you can see on this slide, for example, 4 criteria. It's visibility, excellence, presence, transparency, and some factors. The analysis showed that, first of all, higher educational institutes need to have powerful web applications, all of which will allow to highlight almost all area of the university's activities and ensure their transparency. The second direction of increasing the relevant level indicator is the scientific achievements of the teaching staff through publication in journals, relevant international conference that are affiliated the Scopus Scientific Metric Database. And the last direction is the promotion of publication in the metric database of Google Scholar, which allow to increase the level of the scientific components of higher education. In order to increase the level of the first webometric criteria, create conditions of the automation of certain elements of document flow in the provision of educational services and combat corruption in higher educational institute, is proposed to create web application, web application. First, it's teachers' personal account or personal cabinet, and students' personal account or students' personal cabinet. The main functions of teachers' personal account is the following list: creation of the possibility of distribution of the workload by the head of the educational department between university divisions, creation of an opportunity to plan the distribution of the educational load by the head of the department among the staff of the department, automatic formation of the first half of the workload, so-called audience workload, the possibility of individual planning, and so that you can see on this slide. And as for the students' personal account, students' personal cabinet, web application are automatic formation of the student's individual plan, the possibility of choosing a selective components of the student individual plan through the web application, the possibility of checking the result of training, the possibility the checking of place in the group rating, and some others. And as a conclusion of my presentation, the development of an innovatively active university forms the transition to a new level of the 5.0 education platform. The distinctive features of such a platform are the integration and implementation of innovative campuses with e-education system, which allow the formation of not only an individual trajectory or a dual form of education, but also ensures the integration and or hybridization of the competencies and learning outcomes based on combining educational programs, taking into account trends, technology development. It's proposed a deploy of cooperative information and educational system integrated not only with e-systems, but also providing anti-corruption actions based on the cryptographic information protection system Cipher 509. The concept of security for protecting against the hybrid threats on the basis of the adaptive system for protecting information demonstrated that the effective development of resources in cooperative information educational system university, the growth of the image of the university, the digitalization and automation of document management, the expansion of digital services, the creation of minds, the promotion of the university rating according to the criteria of the international rating of the university ranking web of university webometrics due to webometrics, and can be secured on the basis of electronic document processing, implementing in digital signature of the central key certification based on public key infrastructure technology. Thank you for your attention.
Thank you for your presentation. Is there any question? Okay, next presentation.
Thank you.
You are welcome. Dear Pogasi. Good day. You are listening to me and look my presentation. You can start. Okay, I am starting. My report about the making decision of the managing the choice in the threat detection system from the UAVs when the protection critical infrastructure functions. Implemented aerial ventures. UAVs can pose to the significant threat to the critical infrastructure. The protect critical infrastructure from the UAV threats. We propose the combined use of optical system and the acoustic sensor operation on two components: UAV complex, radar UAV, and a UAV interceptor. The modern market for commercial UAVs is growing on the accelerated. You look at of the slide, and sometime almost 20% of commercial UAVs can carry a relatively large payload, and this characteristic allows them to be activity used to carry out attack on the critical infrastructure objects. They protect critical infrastructure from the UAV threats. You can use combinations of the several sensors and the system which presented in the table. As a concept for protection objects from the potential threats on the proposed to use a system of two UAVs, including a UAV radar and a UAV interpreter, which provide more complete in the improved system for the protected object from potential threats to the airspace. UAV radars uses acoustic detection sensors, can also to be used to detect other UAVs, and for DPR 4053, omnidirectional microphones can be used as a working prototype, and UAV detection optical series are used to detect and track animated aerial ventures using optical radiations and method for the using polarization properties of the optical radiation as an maxing feature. This method is based on the use of the difference in the polarization properties of the optical radiations coming from the UAVs and the background radiation of the sky. The main characteristic feature or in the polarization contracts of a small object against as a uniform sky background. The radar UAV can continuously monitor to the detected UAVs, providing to the operations with information about the actions and the maneuvers. This information is transmitted to the intercepted UAV. If you look at this, which has high maneuverability and speed, which allows to the effectively approach of the detected UAVs. The guidance method with the transition of the homing stage is used to the guide to the UAV interceptor or to the air targets. The method lies in the fact that the operations program set the interceptor's flight course so that it moves in a straight line to the uniformly keeping heading angles constants and meeting the target at the points of the intersection of the flight vectors. The joint use of a radar UAV and the interceptor UAV can provide significant advantages. Thank you for attention.
Thank you for presentation. Is there a question? Thanks again. Next presentation. Dear Sergey, Shevchenko Sergey. Can you hear me? Okay, dear Mlevsky.
Yes.
Yeah, you can start.
Okay, and the previous was Sergei Shevchenko, as I see. We just lost, we losing your signal.
No problem.
I think Sergei Shevchenko is ready now.
Yeah, you can start.
We are not hearing anything. Please turn on your microphone.
Yeah, no problem. We can hear you.
I am from National Technical University, Kharkiv Polytechnic Institute, Department of Program Engineering and Intelligent Control Technology, Kharkiv, Ukraine. I present paper on the topic optimization of multi-criterion solution of selection problems. Introduction. Solving selection problems involves forming justification for decision based on the identification and analysis of the quality of the candidates according to a set of selected criteria. Among candidates, it is necessary to select one or more reasonably options that best meet the selected criterion. The criterion then determine the feasibility of selection characteristics, the quality of efficiency of the user of application reflect the influence of extended and internal factors that are essential for decision making and content requires for granted values of technical and economic characteristic. I apologize for my poor English. Statement of the task. This slide give a statement of the task. It is necessary to determine the best option among a number of possible alternative solutions of the basis compare of evaluations of the values of the set of selected criteria for each applicant. The determinant definition of the best solution and the process of obtaining it should be file formalized. The application of the specific procedure should obtain substantial results. The presence of a set of criteria, the specifics of their definition, as well as a probable contradiction, require the construction of mechanisms for harmonizing decision. The content of optimization solution of the multi-criterion choice problem is presented on this slide. We will assume that the choice options are given by a set of admissible solutions D, the elements of which determine possible applicants. Sorry. Where applicant xi is defined by a set of parameters that contain its characteristics. Applicants can be compared among themselves according of the values of the evaluation according to the selected performance criteria phi k, which together create a vector of estimate. Determination of the best virtual variant of the problem solution is shown on the current slide. The best virtual variant. Let's construct a vector W, the components of which correspond to the best values of all selected efficiency criterion for the option under consideration. As a result, the vector W corresponds to a virtual contender that defines the best archivaments for the options under consideration. Let's normalize the values of criterion. By normalization of criteria, we will understand the transformation of search direction to the maximum and the reduction to relative value. Normalization of this vector results in a vector W. Generalized criterion. In the m-dimensional space format by criteria phi1, phi2, it's the expediency of choosing on the other options xi in D can be determined by that of the scalar product of vectors. Choosing the best solution can be solving the following performed. Note that the reduce the dimensionality of the problem, the set of the search for solution can be limited by using the following subset of applicants. We will use a graphic representation of the rations of the criteria based on the formation balance of the vector diagram of the criterion on a plane, an example on which is given in figure 1. The current and multi-criterion optimization on virtual diet processing system is shown on this slide. The content of the problems is as follows. The initial date contains the amount of work, W, T, and to be performed at time T, the set of possible states of the system P is initial state and the amount of research RT. The solution to the problem is the vectors components determine the distribution of the works between the device that performs them and the necessary initialization of the start of execution, providing the best values of the estimation of the components of the criterion. Then the variance of the architecture corresponding to the solution of problems are determined by the following sets. X T in D and have the corresponding estimation according to the criterion PK. Selected criterion is given on this slide. 1. The cost of processing a given set of user tasks. 1. 2. The processing execution time. 3. Waiting time for the task of start execution. 4. Reliability of execution of processes. 5. The level of use of computing resource. Procedures and methods for evaluating the criterion is given on this slide. 1. Solving a discrete programming problem with a linear object function and logical variables for distribution task between virtual machines and the user, taking into account the ratios of task characteristics and parameters of virtual machine computing research. 2. The results of the solution for P1 allow us to determine the amount of computation work and obtain an estimate of its execution time. 3. Estimated of the waiting time criterion are determined by randomly obtained processing jobs by virtual machines using a mass service system simulation model. 4. The evaluation the reliability of a virtual processing system is determined by a reliability index that takes into account the probability of uninterrupted operation of virtual machines and said components involved in processing. E5, the relative amount of use of computing research. Initial date of the calculation example is given on this slide. This is characteristics of date processing task, cost of using virtual computing research, selected characteristic of virtual machines, and characteristic of virtual machines in table 4. Calculation results. Table evolution of solution and normalized and generalized estimation in table. Evolution of criterions. Normalized assessments of variant in this slide, and vector diagram for selected variants for 5 variant. Conclusion. The problems of multi-criterion selection with the determinant of optimal option of applications are common class of problems, the solution of which is devoted to quite a lot of research. And the considered examples, the formatting are justified of multi-criterion choice variant of construction of virtual data processing system, indicating the possibility of application of the proposed approach to solve similar practical problems. Thank you for attention.
Thank you for presentation. Next presentation. Dear Stanislav Milevsky.
Thank you.
You're welcome. You can start.
Yes. Can you see my screen?
Yeah.
Okay, dear colleagues, today I want to present a report on our research of development of methods of digital synthesis of electrical signals with normalized harmonic coefficient. We all know that such harmonic signals are widely used in radio electronics and electrical systems in measurement of alternating low-frequency electrical signals. In radio engineering systems, when transmitting high-frequency signals, sinusoidal form also used, and it is really important. This distribution of sinusoidal signal associated with the characteristics of harmonic signals, and firstly, the passage of harmonic signals through linear systems only changes the phase and amplitude of such signals, but doesn't affect the change in their frequency. And secondly, various complex signals can be represented as a sum of harmonic signals using trigonometric functions. When monitoring the quality of electricity in power networks in the frequency range from 50 to 400 Hz, according to regulatory documents, it is necessary to control harmonic coefficient of the voltage of the power supply network. We propose the method which is based on the formation of quasi-sinusoidal signal And the essence of this method is to represent the original sinusoidal signal by a piecewise, stepwise approximation. In this case, harmonic coefficient of such a signal is determined by the number of approximation sections. The more approximation sections we have, the lower the harmonic coefficient, and it asymptotically tends to zero depending on the approximation method. Improving technical characteristics of the electrical signal generator in terms of the range of harmonic and harmonic composition is achieved by replacing the quasi-sinusoidal signal with a step signal. Next, we've calculated harmonic coefficient of the synthesized step signal and found the relationship between the parameters of such a signal and parameter of the steps. Here in this slide, we can see the half the period of synthesized piecewise step signal with all designations which were used in our research. After conducting interim calculations, we achieved the result, which is shown in this slide, and the relation for harmonic coefficient can be represented with this dependence. Next, we represent this formula as shown in equation 8, and after substituting the obtained relations into formula and subsequent transformation, we get next its view like in formula 13 on this slide. Then we introduced the integrated parameter, which is shown in formula 14, and then we wrote this expression as shown in formula 15, and we get this result. And formulas 13 and 14 are transcendental with respect to the required values of the optimal values of the switching points alpha, which provides the minimum value of the coefficient of harmonics of a piecewise step signal for a fixed number of approximation intervals. This allows to find the optimal numerical solution. Next, relation 8 was transformed, and after substituting formula 15 into it, we obtained an expression for the harmonic coefficient as a function of the parameter b, which is shown here is in function number 16. Here we can see dependence of the harmonic coefficient on the introduced integral parameter beta for a different number of approximation intervals, which is designated as p. Analysis of the graph, which was shown in previous slide, showed that harmonic distortion function tends to the minimum with coordinates, optimal coordinates, and we noted that with an increase of the value p, parameter beta tends to value 1 divided by 2p asymptotically. When considering the limit and the condition where our p is much more than 1, in formula 15, we had the next form, which is shown here, and the minimum value of the harmonic coefficient will be tends much more than this dependence. This is shown here also. Analysis of the obtained relations and the graphs built on the application shows that the change in the values of the variable beta leads to new different values of the harmonic coefficient. For example, decreasing the parameter beta from its optimal value to 0 leads to a shift of the switching point to the mark alpha equal to 0. In this case, the vertex of the resultant piecewise stepped signal phi has a longer linear section, and signal phi alpha will tend to meander shape at when our beta will be equal to 0. If all switching points merge into 1, our harmonic coefficient can be calculated as it's shown here. And the result obtained corresponds to the ordinate of the intersection point of the family of curves KH on our, which was shown in our previous slide, which confirms the adequacy of the proposed method. Proposed methods of digital synthesis of electrical signals with a normalized harmonic coefficient makes it possible to calculate the characteristics of generators with the required parameters. So thank you for your attention, and I'm ready to answer your questions.
Thank you for presentation. Is there any question? Okay, thanks again. Dear Laptev, Alexander
Yes, of
Laptev.
Yes. 1 minute.
You can start.
Yes.
Introduction. The development of modern society requires the intensive development of information technology with a high degree of autonomy. This problem is especially acute for manufacturing enterprises that operate under the influence of extreme factors. The functional stability is the key to the functioning of the information system. Possibly with a decrease in quality, during the specified time under the influence of external and internal destabilizing factors. Propose an approach is to apply a certain method to ensure the properties of functional stability of the enterprise information system. By presenting the functioning of the system as a formalized process, in which the main types of procedures are the accumulation of tests, analysis of test links, diagnosing failed module and restoring the system. Introduction. The development of modern society requires the intensive development of information technology with a high degree of autonomy. This problem is especially acute for manufacturing enterprises that operate under the influence of extreme factors. The functional stability is the key to the functioning of the information system. Possibly with a decrease in quality, during the specified time under the influence of external and internal destabilizing factors. Propose an approach is to apply a certain method to ensure the properties of functional stability of the enterprise information system. By presenting the functioning of the system as a formalized process, in which the main types of procedures are the accumulation of tests, analysis of test links, diagnosing failed module and restoring the system. Introduction. The development of modern society requires the intensive development of information technology with a high degree of autonomy. This problem is especially acute for manufacturing enterprises that operate under the influence of extreme factors. The functional stability is the key to the functioning of the information system. Possibly with a decrease in quality, during the specified time under the influence of external and internal destabilizing factors. Propose an approach is to apply a certain method to ensure the properties of functional stability of the enterprise information system. By presenting the functioning of the system as a formalized process, in which the main types of procedures are the accumulation of tests, analysis of test links, diagnosing failed module and restoring the system. Basic provisions and assumptions of mathematical modeling to confirm the correctness of the developed scientific and methodological apparatus. Mathematical modeling of the process of diagnosing the information system of the enterprise was carried out. At the same time, the information system was divided into several subsystems, which contain a number of modules. The technical condition of the subsystem is given in the form of a binary vector formula 3.1 where C equals 0 indicates the operating state of the computing module ME. C equals 1 indicates the inoperable state of the computing module ME. Mathematical modeling was performed to determine the main indicators of diagnosis, D, reliability of diagnosis, TD, time of diagnosis, the time from the moment of failure of some module to the moment of the issue by the algorithm of the analysis of a technical condition of modules S. Assumptions are made during modeling. Assumptions with explanations are shown on slides 4 to 7. Basic provisions and assumptions of mathematical modeling to confirm the correctness of the developed scientific and methodological apparatus. Mathematical modeling of the process of diagnosing the information system of the enterprise was carried out. At the same time, the information system was divided into several subsystems, which contain a number of modules. The technical condition of the subsystem is given in the form of a binary vector formula 3.1 where C equals 0 indicates the operating state of the computing module ME. C equals 1 indicates the inoperable state of the computing module ME. Mathematical modeling was performed to determine the main indicators of diagnosis, D, reliability of diagnosis, TD, time of diagnosis, the time from the moment of failure of some module to the moment of the issue by the algorithm of the analysis of a technical condition of modules S. Assumptions are made during modeling. Assumptions with explanations are shown on slides 4 to 7. Basic provisions and assumptions of mathematical modeling to confirm the correctness of the developed scientific and methodological apparatus. Mathematical modeling of the process of diagnosing the information system of the enterprise was carried out. At the same time, the information system was divided into several subsystems, which contain a number of modules. Basic provisions and assumptions of mathematical modeling to confirm the correctness of the developed scientific and methodological apparatus. Mathematical modeling of the process of diagnosing the information system of the enterprise was carried out. At the same time, the information system was divided into several subsystems, which contain a number of modules. The technical condition of the subsystem is given in the form of a binary vector formula 3.1 where C equals 0 indicates the operating state of the computing module ME. C equals 1 indicates the inoperable state of the computing module ME. Mathematical modeling was performed to determine the main indicators of diagnosis, D, reliability of diagnosis, TD, time of diagnosis, the time from the moment of failure of some module to the moment of the issue by the algorithm of the analysis of a technical condition of modules S. Assumptions are made during modeling. Assumptions with explanations are shown on slides 4 to 7. Basic provisions and assumptions of mathematical modeling to confirm the correctness of the developed scientific. Basic provisions and assumptions of mathematical modeling to Basic provisions and assumptions of mathematical modeling to confirm the correctness of the developed scientific and methodological apparatus. Mathematical Basic provisions and assumptions of mathematical modeling to confirm the correctness of the developed scientific and methodological apparatus. Mathematical modeling of the process of diagnosing the information system of the enterprise was carried out. At the same time, the information system was divided into several subsystems, which contain a number of modules. The technical condition of the subsystem is given in the form of a binary vector formula 3.1 where C equals 0 indicates the operating state of the computing module ME. C equals 1 indicates the inoperable.
Conclusion. Yes.
Thank you for
Questions?
presenting. Thank you.
Thank you very much.
You're welcome. Dear Ras,
Morning, sir.
morning. You can start.
Malware detection. Okay, let me see here. Thank you. Okay. Malware detection in ad hoc e-government network using machine learning. Malware developers have been kept tremendously busy in recent years due to the increasing use of the Android operating system and in e-government operations. Significant numbers of viruses developers have as their primary purpose the transformation of mobile devices into boot. So it is now feasible to hackers to take control of the device that are connected to it. When developing, sorry. Yes. So it's now feasible to hackers to take control of the device that are connected to it when developing harmful botnet attacks. Complex approaches such as multi-staged payload or self-protection are employed, making it more difficult to detect the information as a result. It has been established that machine learning based algorithms can be useful for finding and monitoring threats posed by IoT devices. A method known as behavioral malware detection is a strategy that was developed to protect users. Can I just stop my video? Okay. To protect users from dangers posed by malware that has not been yet recognized by researchers. These procedures frequently call for the application of data mining tools. Data mining tools approaches are statistical tools and machine learning algorithms applied to a feature collection in order to differentiate potential hazards software from software that poses no threat. Improving the accuracy requires first locating the appropriate features for subsequent analysis, which is then followed by the extraction of those features and subsequent comparison of those features. One popular example of such a features is referred to as an application programming interface, API call sequence, which is a representation of the order in which the software called APIs. In order to locate this sequence, each application will need to be broken down individually. Sorry. It is stuck. I don't know why. Okay. An n-gram feature extraction. An n-gram is a generic term that can be applied to a byte sequence of any length. The hexadecimal dump of an executable is processed using a parser so that n-gram properties can be extracted. Standard data mining based techniques use n-grams on a hexadecimal dump of the HE program in order to detect malware. These dumps are in hexadecimal. Since assembly instructions sequences more effectively contain the mean of a program, n-gram should be abandoned in favor of their utilization. It is necessary to disassemble the executable files in order to obtain the instructions, because almost all programs make calls to the application programming interface API. In order to connect with the operating system, this method holds a lot of potential as means of identifying malicious software. It is possible to gain valuable insight into harmful activities by analyzing the order in which APIs are called by a program, regardless of whether or not the program is malicious. In order to locate this sequence, each application will need to be broken down individually. So this is show how the API works. An overview of all functions that can be called using API. Classification phase. The classification task is referred to as adversarial classification. If the samples of the harmful class are generated by an intelligent and adaptable opponent who deliberately manipulates data in order to incorrectly can you please put this side bar? Sorry. Okay. The system is made of two steps. Classification. This search study is an attempt to employ an This search is an attempt to employ an adversarial classifier in the context of malware detection and elimination, which is one of the most pressing problems facing society today. An IDS, intrusion detection system, was defined in between the author of malware and the anti-malware system, and Bayes naive Bayes was chosen to serve as a basic classifier for the system. We suggest a strategy where the malicious coder alters some elements of the instance while calculating to make it look like a benign one. Step 2, at first, naive Bayes was implemented without the API feature selection. It performed surprisingly bad. A simple modification was made to increase the performance. It was suspected that high amounts of unnecessary features were responsible for the poor performance. To counter the large amounts of necessary feature, a weight value was introduced. This weight made it possible for the program to compare possibilities between multiple classification and a classification with a feature weight should still always have higher classification score than the classification without the feature weights. This is what shows the summary of all data sets and makes a comparison between our method and the naive Bayes method for the means false negative. And this is also a comparison of the accuracy gained by our method and that of the naive Bayes algorithm. Malware prevention approach. Anti-malware system arrive at their best possible decision by making two assumptions. First, that the malware author uses their best possible techniques to correct the test data, and second, the data train set T that was used to learn the naive Bayes classifier has not been tampered with. These two assumptions allow the system to arrive at their best possibility decision. Anti-malware system, in order to get the most out of the samples, make educated guesses about the malware's type that samples are most likely to include. However, at this point, we need to take into consideration the fact that the creator of the virus tampered with that data, which is an important distinction. Since the bad actor only changed the data so that it had a positive class, The only variable would be changed in the Bayes formula is P bar positive, while P positive and P negative and P bar negative are remained at the same. This is due to the fact that the bad actor only altered the data to have a positive class. The likelihood that an instance X bar exists in a proportional to the probability that instance X belongs to the positive class, which is the sum of all features. This holds true or for any instance X that is considered. It is possible that the author of malicious software will swap instances. There was no effect because there was no change in the situation. As a result, we are going to turn our attention into altered domain attributes. The creators of malware have two alternatives options available to them when deciding whether or not to leave an instance unchanged. And this is a diagram shows the presentation of the suggested operating processes. Results, we propose that a certain universal standard as a means of evaluating the efficiency of our methodology. Standard goal functions are utilized in order to place classification algorithms in the specific order. Quantitative analysis is used to determine how accurate a classification is in order to provide the framework for presenting precise measurement. Later on, we will begin by defining a few fundamental terms. The terms true positive refers to the percentage of the input data that was accurately detected as being from the distribution that was being sought after. When the true negative TN score is high, it indicates that the significant number of items have been correctly detected yet do not serve the purpose. The percentage of items that were incorrectly recognized as being a part of target group is referred to as false positive. Step 2, modify the classification characteristics. When it has been determined which sets can be modified, it takes n calls to the API to change the size of the window that is being used to calculate the feature. To have a feature in the program with a value of 1 implies that it may call the API. On the other hand, having a feature with a value of 0 shows that the corresponding feature is not available in the program because the features discussed in this article are binary. The scenario of changing them would include complementing them, which would mean switching 1 for 0 and vice versa. After these two steps have been finished, the data that has been manipulated should be appropriately classified by software designed to combat malware. Then each agent will assign a utility that takes into account the outcome of the categorization. Its superior performance is demonstrated because our mean false negative of ngram1 database is only 1.865, and the mean false negative for naive Bayes algorithm is 6.84. It is clear that our findings are superior of those obtained by the naive Bayes algorithm by a factor of around 6. And these are our related works according to our purposed method. The author Wang, 2014, SVM algorithm, the accuracy 0.86, lying to 2019, accuracy 0.91. Dr. Ahmed, 19, uses DT algorithm 0.92, our proposed method naive Bayes algorithm 0.97. Conclusions and feature research. Malware is purposely created to impair computer systems and networks due to the rising frequency of malware attacks. A sound computer security policy is necessary, as it is a tried and true process for responding to such threats. The experiments verify the efficiency of anti-malware in determining the variety of malware. In this research, we intend to construct a malware detection system by recognizing data that has been changed by hostile actors. The system is based on the naive Bayes classifier. The results of our trials shows that our method outperforms naive Bayes algorithm and delivers a decent result when tested using the most used test metrics. It can also identify malwares with acceptable detection. To boost our method efficiency against a bigger range of threats, such as large number of adversaries, we will use Onson classifier. Thank you.
Thank you for presentation. Is there any question? Okay. Thanks again.
Thank you.
You are welcome. Dear Malika. Okay. Dear Mustafa.
Merhabalar herkese, merhabalar hocam.
Merhabalar. Mustafa, paylaşıma başlayabiliriz.
Geldi görüntü herhalde hocam.
Geldi.
Evet, çalışmamız kentsel seslerin parçacık sürü optimizasyonu ve balina optimizasyonu tabanlı özellik seçim yöntemleriyle sınıflandırılması. Ses sınıflandırması sürekli gelişen bir araştırma alanı olmakla beraber otomatik konuşma tanıma sistemleri, güvenlik sistemleri ve metin okuma uygulamaları dahil birçok gelişmiş teknolojinin merkezinde yer almaktadır. Ses tespiti ve sınıflandırması, müzik türünün sınıflandırılması, kuş seslerinin sınıflandırılması veya duygu tespiti gibi çok sayıda potansiyel uygulama içeren geniş bir alandır. Şehirlerde veya herhangi bir ortamda ses türlerini ve kaynaklarını tespit etmek, tanımak, güvenlik kadar yaşam kalitesi için de bir zorunluluk oluşturmaktadır. Ses, şehirdeki çok sayıda yaşam sahnesini ve fiziksel olayı taşıdığı için bu bilgileri otomatik olarak çıkarmak için derin öğrenme yaklaşımı geliştirmek, akıllı şehir inşa etmede büyük bir potansiyele ve uygulamaya sahiptir. Ses sınıflandırma sistemleri de kentsel mahallelerde gürültü kirliliğinin azaltılmasında hayati bir rol oynamaktadır. Uzun süreli gürültü kirliliğine maruz kalmak, sağlığı ve refahı birçok yönden etkilediğinden bu kirlilik kaynaklarının tanınması önem arz etmektedir. Ses tanıma algoritmaları geleneksel olarak konuşma ve müzik sinyali işleme görevleri için kullanılır. Son yıllarda yapılan çalışmalarda çevresel ses tanıma ve sınıflandırma problemleri büyük ilgi görmektedir. Dünya genelinde şehirlerdeki insan popülasyonunun 2050 yılına kadar yaklaşık %80'ini kentsel ortamlarda yaşaması tahmin edilmektedir. Bu hızlı şehirleşme oranı vatandaşların hayatlarını kolaylaştırmak için büyük gelişme fırsatları yaratmaktadır. Akıllı şehirler insanların kalitesini artırmak için şehirlerde bulunan farklı algılama sistemleri vasıtasıyla şehir çapında yeni hizmetler sunarak bu fırsatlardan yararlanırlar. Şehirler gürültü kirliliğini azaltmak, güvenlik, izleme, bağlama duyarlılığı, bilgi işlem, otonom araç yönlendirme ve gözetleme gibi çeşitli görevlerde uygulama olasılığı nedeniyle kentsel ses karakterizasyonundan faydalanılabilir. Çalışmamızda kullandığımız veri seti, bu çalışmada literatürde sokak sesleri sınıflandırmasında en çok kullanılan veri seti olan Urban Sound 8K tercih edilmiştir. Bu veri setinde air conditioner, car horn, children playing, dog bark, drilling, engine idling, gunshot, jackhammer, siren ve street müzik seslerinden oluşmaktadır. Bu 10 kentsel görüntü kategorisine ayrılmış 8332 ses dosyası ile her bir ses klibi yaklaşık 8 saniye sürmektedir. Ayrıca bu veri setin Carnhorn ve Gunshot sınıfları hariç diğer etiketler arasında hemen hemen eşit olarak dağıtılmıştır. Buna ek olarak kentsel görüntü sınıflarının çoğunluğu üst sınıf dışında her biri 1000 dosyaya sahiptir. Yani 1000 tane örneklem vardır. Bazı ses dosyalarının 0 saniyeye çok yakın olmasından dolayı öz nitelik hesaplamaları doğru yapılamamıştır. Bu nedenle bu ses dosyalarının olduğu Carnhorn ve Gunshot sınıfları çalışma dışı bırakılmıştır. Bunların örneklem sayısı da 300'ler 400 civarında olduğu için diğerleri hep 1000'e yakın olduğundan bunları çalışma dışı bıraktık. Ve çalışmamızda kullandığımız sınıflar tabloda görüldüğü gibidir. Özellik çıkartımı için OpenSmile Python versiyonunu kullandık. Özellik çıkartım aşamasında her bir ses dosyasından 6373 öz nitelik elde ettik. Ve bunların detaylı ayrıntıları tabloda görüldüğü gibidir. Çalışmamızda kullandığımız algoritmalardan biri olan parçacık sürü optimizasyonu hakkında kısaca bilgi vermek gerekecek olursak, PSO kuş sürüsünün davranışlarını simüle eden ve bunu optimizasyon problemlerini çözmek için kullanılan bir algoritmadır. PSO bir grup rastgele parçacık ile başlatılır ve ardından nesilleri güncelleyerek optimum çözümü arar. Her nesilde her parçacık 2 en iyi değeri takip ederek güncellenir. İlki şimdiye kadar elde ettiği en iyi çözüm, yani fitness değeridir. Bu değer P5 olarak adlandırılır. Parçacık sürü optimize edici tarafından izlenen bir başka en iyi değer, popülasyondaki herhangi bir parçacık tarafından şimdiye kadarki en iyi elde edilen değer olarak tanımlanır. Bu en iyi değer küresel en iyi değerdir ve G-best olarak adlandırılır. Her parçacığın hızı ve konumu herhangi bir parçacığın karşılaştığı en iyi konuma göre aşağıdaki denkleme göre güncellenir. Bu denklemde V'de D boyutunda parçacık hızı, X'de D boyutunda mevcut parçacık konumudur. Ve atalet ağırlığı P ve P'i daha önce belirtildiği gibi tanımlanan sabit değerlerdir. Random 0 ile 1 arasında rastgele değer alan bir fonksiyondur. C1 ve C2 öğrenme faktörleridir ve genellikle 2 olarak kabul edilir. Hız Vmax adı verilen belirli bir sınırın üzerindeyse ve bu sınır bu parçacık için bu boyuttaki yeni hız olarak kullanılacak ve böylece parçacıkların arama uzayı içinde tutulacaktır ve bu değerde 6 olarak kullanılmıştır. Bir diğer algoritmamız balina algoritması. Kambur balinaların doğal davranışlarını taklit etmek için ilham alınan bir optimizasyon algoritmasıdır. Bu balinalar genellikle hayatta kalma yolu olarak avlanma davranışlarına bağlıdır. Bu algoritmanın modellenmesi kambur balinaların av arama, çevreleyen av ve sömürü aşaması davranışlarını simüle eden 3 operatör içerir. Bunlardan birincisi olan avın çevrelenmesi. Kambur balinalar avlarının yerini tanıyıp onları çevreleme yeteneğine sahiptirler. Arama uzayındaki optimal tasarımın konumu önceden bilinmediği için ve o algoritması mevcut çözümlerin en iyisi olduğunu veya optimuma en yakın olduğunu varsayar. En iyi arama ajanı tanımlanır ve diğer arama ajanları konumlarını en iyi arama ajanına doğru güncellemeye çalışırlar. Bu durum aşağıdaki denklemle temsil edilmektedir. Bu denklemde T geçerli iterasyonu gösterir. A ve C katsayı vektörleridir. X şimdiye kadar elde edilen en iyi çözümün konum vektörüdür. Daha iyi bir çözüm varsa X'in her yinelemedeki güncellemesi gerektiğini burada belirtmekte fayda var. A ve C vektörleri ise yine aşağıdaki gibi hesaplanmaktadır. Burada A yinelemeler boyunca yani hem keşif hem de kullanım aşamasında 2'den 0'a doğrusal olarak azalır. R değeri ise 0 ile 1 arasında rastgele değer alan bir vektördür. Diğer bir aşama sömürü aşaması. Bu aşama aynı zamanda bubble net saldırısı olarak adlandırılır. Bunun da iki yaklaşımı vardır. Birincisi küçülen çevreleme mekanizması. Burada A optimizasyon süresi boyunca 2'den 0'a düşürülür. Eksi 1 ile 1 aralığındaki değer A'nın rastgeleliği, arama aracısının yeni konumu, aracısının geçmiş konumu ile mevcut en iyi konum arasındaki herhangi bir yerde belirlenebilir. Şekilde iki boyutlu uzayda A'nın 0 ile 1 arasında elde edilebilecek X'in mevcut konumundan güncellenen konuma doğru olası konumları göstermektedir. Diğer aşaması spiral güncelleme konumu. Bu adımda şekilde gösterildiği gibi balinanın avının konumlar arasındaki mesafe hesaplanır ve ardından kambur balinanın sarmal şeklinin hareketini simüle etmek için balina ve av konumları arasında bir sarmal denklemi oluşturulur. Bu da aşağıdaki denklemdeki gibi ifade edilir. Burada B logaritmik sarmal şeklini belirtmek için bir sabittir ve L ise eksi 1 ile 1 bölgesinde rastgele bir sayıdır. Balinanın avına doğru hareketi eş zamanlı olarak spiral şekilli bir yolda daralan bir daire çizmektedir. Bu nedenle balinanın bir sonraki konumunu aşağıdaki gibi güncellemek için iki mod arasında geçiş yapma olasılığı %50 varsayımı uygulanır. Ve son aşama keşif aşaması. Bu aşamada balinanın global optimizasyonunu gerçekleştirir. A vektörü arama aracısını referans balinadan uzaklaşmaya zorlamak için eksi 1 ile 1'den rastgele bir değer alır. Bu A vektörünün birden büyük veya eksi 1'den küçük olması gerektiği anlamına gelir. Ayrıca burada bir aramacanın güncellenmiş konumu balina optimizasyonunun global arama yapmasına izin veren bir aramacanın rastgele seçilmesiyle yapılır. Bu keşif mekanizmasının modellenmesi ise aşağıdaki şekilde ifade edilmektedir. Yaptığımız çalışmanın sonuçlarına bakacak olursak, tabloda incelendiğinde PSO algoritması ile SVM sınıflandırmasında başarı oranı %1 oranında azaldığı, buna rağmen öz nitelik sayısının %52,66 oranında azaldığı, yani yarıdan fazlasının öz niteliğinin azaldığı sağlanmıştır. Balina algoritmasının ise SVM sınıflandırması ile başarı oranının %1 azalmasına rağmen yine bunda da %50 oranında bir azalma olmuştur öz nitelik sayısında. Diğer sınıflandırıcı olan KNN algoritması ile başarı oranı PSO'da %4, VO'da %3 azalma görülmüş. Buna rağmen öz nitelik sayısı VO algoritmasıyla 6373 öz nitelik sayısı VO algoritmasıyla 3169'a, PSO algoritmasıyla 3115'e kadar düştüğü görülmüştür. Kullanılan algoritmaların SVM ve KNN sınıflandırıcıyla elde edilen doğruluk oranları tabloda karşılaştırılmıştır. Doğruluk oranları SVM sınıflandırıcısı ile PSO algoritmasında 88,12, VO algoritmasında ise 88,39 olarak elde edilmiştir. Tüm sonuçlar incelendiğinde metasezgisel algoritmalar içinde en iyi performansı balina algoritması sergilemiştir. Balina algoritması SVM sınıflandırıcısında 88,30, KNN sınıflandırıcısında ise 70,51 başarı sağlamıştır. Her ne kadar başarı oranları optimize edilmeden önceki duruma göre aynı kalsa da öz nitelik sayısının yarıdan fazla azalması performans açısından iyileştirme sağlayacaktır. Gelecekteki çalışmalarda başarı oranının daha da artırılması için hibrit modellere yönelik çalışmalar planlamaktayız. Evet, teşekkür ederim.
Thank you for presentation. Dear Malika. Okay. Many thanks for your contribution. We will upload your participation certificates to system soon. Best regards. See you in the next session. Is there any question about the Congress? Okay. See you.
Mr. Tarun, would like to